I'm going to get to your tarot and oracle reading in a second, but I just wanted to say hello. And I wanted to say thank you to the people who checked in on me because I did not crash out. I ended up making it through and I refilled on my sparkling waters. So I have some Waterloos. This is not my favorite flavor, but this is a pretty good one that they sell pretty close by to me at the Walgreens. And then I actually got a subscription to Olipop because my favorite flavor is really hard to find. I can't have apple, and that's what they use for a lot of their like ingredients for a lot of their different flavors. So I can only really have like a couple of flavors that they have. I can't have poppy at all because of the apple. They use apple cider vinegar and everything. So, and I have an intolerance to it. So I just don't do apple. But they have this one that's banana cream from Olipop and it is so good. We went to the store to get some and we actually like walked around in the store because normally I do curbside. Because I have a local HEB. If you don't know what HEB is, I live in Texas. It's like our big local chain grocery store. And their curbside is amazing. One of their missions, I think, is within the next 5 years is to have stores that are just curbside. You can either love it or hate it, whatever. But I love using curbside because it saves me time and I can just, go and pick up my groceries whenever I want. So anyways, we actually walked around inside and we got a few things because we were going to make dinner. Because every time my husband wants to make dinner, he just thinks of it in the moment. And then we go and get the supplies right then versus I'll like meticulously plan out the whole week. So I only have to go to the grocery store once. And we went and looked for my favorite Olipop. We went all over. We went to like 3 different locations, 3 different fridges or whatever, and they didn't have it. So I had to get a different one. The one I got is fine. It's just that one is my favorite. The banana cream is delicious. It's like a dessert. I'm obsessed with it. And the other day when I was doing Weight Watchers and I was just kind of feeling a little hungry and I didn't have a lot of food because I haven't been to the grocery store. I still haven't been to the grocery store since then, honestly. I was like, I just really want that. But now I have a whole bunch of them and they're cooling down the fridge. So I'm going to have one later today as like a little treat. And then I've been drinking my sparkling waters to get through the day. So anyways, that's enough of a little bit of a story from my week or whatever, and we can get into a tarot and oracle reading to see what's going on. What I can tell already is there are some very difficult challenges that we're going through right now. We have for the central focus of our reading here is the Page of Swords, and pages are all about learning. I mean, you can literally see she has a book, right? And there's like all these little ideas springing off from it that are kind of like leading her through this journey as she walks through. And so I think for a lot of us, how we're having to kind of like respond to what's going on is by being a little bit more curious, a little bit more of like wanting to learn things. I think acknowledging history and things is a huge like part of that. It's a huge part of growth is really what we're seeing here is people needing to learn a little bit more about history, learn a little bit more about like, I don't know, just what's going on, being able to soak all those things in. And I didn't say I don't know as in I don't know really. I meant I don't know as in like it means something to you, right? Like you can attach that to whatever it is that you feel like you're trying to learn a little bit more about. And with this 3 of Wands reversed, there's a lack of foundation there. I got that in my personal reading I did for myself the other day about just not having like a solid foundation. And for me personally, it definitely like creates this like imbalance in life and feeling like there's like almost like a cut to my confidence because I don't have this foundation. I've been talking a lot online about, acknowledging opportunities and things like that and how not everybody has like certain opportunities. And there are plenty of things in my life to be grateful for, plenty of privileges that I personally have, but there are other things too that I have missed out on and other things that I've seen people easily have. And, and sometimes we can get into like this envy and jealousy of people having these things, but then also recognizing I have things that other people don't, right? So it's all about acknowledgement. And whenever I have 8 of Cups here too, I also have some of us are like having to walk away and having to let go of the things that we thought we knew whenever we're thinking about this Page of Swords and definitely like opening up to learning something different. I think for a lot of us, like we might have been like putting so much time and effort, maybe even years of effort into something, and now we're having to walk away from it. And I can see a really dark journey for a lot of us with this 6 of Swords. Like we're crossing over, like you can see like these like ravaging tides, We're like crossing through this like rapid, like these rapid waters. And going through them is because of what we've been having to walk away from. Although we can see in this card as well that she's walking towards the sun. So I think it's like better days are ahead. But right now we're just like literally in the trenches. And so it's really difficult to see that positivity. I have here 5 of Swords as well. So I think also like this is also like a lack of confidence. You know, 5 of Swords is like whenever you argue with someone and you win the argument by being just like meaner than them. You know, and like a lot of us, whenever we're younger, that's how we learn to argue, especially if you have emotionally immature parents. You learn that that's how you argue, is just like being meaner than them, being louder than them, like whatever. And a lot of us learn in our relationships later in life that that's like not the way to argue with people. It's not a way to get what you want realistically. I mean, you can overpower somebody temporarily, but at the end of the day, eventually that relationship will be shattered and it'll eventually end because people don't like being berated like that, right? But it also comes from like that lack of confidence, which is like what I'm really talking about here, is like not having the confidence in ourselves to even stand up for ourselves at all. You know, like there is no arguing because there's just like nothing happening in that realm. You know what I mean? And maybe it does come from like a history of like not being able to process emotions very well and not being able to communicate very well. It could be part of what you're learning whenever it comes to like this next step for you or something like that. It's definitely what I'm getting. Let's add some oracle cards and see what comes out. Okay, whenever it comes to learning what we've walked away from, I have manifestation here too. So I think that's what you're learning, is how to manifest more positive relationships in your life and maybe how to communicate a little bit better, since that topic seemed to have come up. I also have Blossom here with the lack of foundation and the Page of Swords. So I think the Page of Swords being that central focus of our reading is really because we really just want to learn, right? We want to elevate to the next level, and it's starting to blossom. And whenever we think about like not having that foundational standpoint, I think this is telling us that like that foundation is growing, and we're going to start seeing more of a sturdy platform as we continue to work through these things that we need to work from. The central focus with this, like these oracle cards here, is strength, and it's between that Six of Swords and 5 of Swords reversed. So I think that through this journey and this like lack of confidence that we're struggling with, I think what we really need to is like lean on our strengths a little bit more. I already talked a little bit about acknowledging your opportunities and things. So I think that maybe you need to acknowledge a little bit more about like your blessings, maybe count your blessings a little bit more. That keeps coming up for me as like a theme. So I think other people need to hear it too. We have duality as well. So don't do everything on your own. Definitely like look for ways that you can include other people in your process and in your progress, you know? And then also look at like the different sides of yourself as well. Like in what ways are you limiting yourself, especially through this journey as we're like going through, like you don't have to shoulder everything on your own. I have Bound here, and the Bound is next to that 5 of Swords reverse. So I think that lack of confidence is really binding us to this narrative that we've told ourselves throughout our lives, that we like don't deserve better, or that we can't have something good happen, especially with that lack of foundation. I mean, like that's how I feel about myself with a lot of things, you know. My journey through finding some sort of career has been so scattered. And it's like, yes, it's part of the economy. Yes, it's part of decisions I made. Yes, it's part of COVID. Yes, it's part of, you know, it's like all of those things kind of come together to create this like what my life is on a sheet of paper, you know, like what my life is on a resume, and then struggling to be able to find work placement because of that, but also not being ashamed of my decisions either, because a lot of things I did do were difficult. I have published multiple books. I have worked with lots of different clients. I've done different kinds of work. I've done, you know, long form, short form writing. I've like definitely like been out in the wild, been out in the weeds, and I've like done what I can. But in this like economy and in this like current landscape, it's really difficult to compete with other people who maybe have had that corporate job for however long. They might not have had those personal achievements that I've been able to have, but they've had that like long-term show of like their 8 to 5 or whatever that I don't necessarily have. So I do feel like bound by it. And you might have other things in your life that are very similar, like something that you just feel very, very bound by, and something that you don't feel like you can like overcome. But we're building that foundation, and we're having lots of blossoms coming into our life. Okay, I'm running out of time here, but if you watched, please engage in some way or share this with somebody if you think that they would want to see it. And give me a follow if you haven't followed me before for more content like this.